everyone, my name is Rachel Langston. I'm an owner and craft educator here at Oak and Lamb. Today we're going to be talking all about why your vinyl might not be cutting the way it's supposed to be cutting. That means it is hard to weed, it doesn't seem to cut through, it cuts through too much. There's a lot of different factors as to why your vinyl isn't cutting the way it should, and I can't wait to break those down today. The first reason why your material might not be cutting the way it's supposed to is because your blade might be dull. So once you get your fine point blade, if you use it for several months full time, a lot of wear and tear, or if you use rougher materials, if you're constantly cutting glitter cardstock and things like that, or heavier cardstocks, you might notice your blade getting dull. One thing you can do is switch your material setting in Design Space to give that blade a little more pressure when it cuts. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, and over in Design Space, I have just selected Make It on a cut file that we have here at Oak and Lamb. It's a super cute one, and once we connect to our machine, I will just select a material setting. And right here, after I select the material setting, right under number 2, you see pressure right here, pressure. If you click this little down menu, a drop-down menu, you will see this is set to default pressure. If you know that your blade is dull and it is just not cutting through your material all the way, one possible cause is that your blade is dull, and if you think that is the case, you can try and give that more pressure. So you can select more pressure here at this drop-down menu. Now, if you just change your blade and your blade is super fresh and super sharp, you can actually cut all the way through your material and have trouble weeding that way. If you think that your blade is too sharp, it's cutting directly through your material, you can back it up and give it a little bit of less pressure. Now, this is something that you won't have to select often. Less pressure, it might be used for like a week or two until your Cricut blade gets a little bit of wear, and then it will of course be set to default by default, and then you can select more pressure when your blade gets dull. Now, another point I want to talk about is your vinyl might not be cutting properly if you're using the wrong material setting. So make sure you're using the setting that corresponds with the type of vinyl that you have. Make sure you're reading on your vinyl which material setting will work best. Maybe do a little bit of tests, do some tests with some basic shapes on some different settings if you're not getting good success on the setting that you normally use. Make sure that your setting is correct in Design Space. It matters a whole lot. It can make a big difference depending on what setting you have in Design Space for your material. So make sure you do your research, have the proper setting. Now, we can also say this, sometimes the proper setting doesn't work. That's why doing some tests might help. Cut out some basic shapes, super small in the corner of your vinyl, try to weed it and see how that works out. One possibility is that you might have a bad brand of vinyl. You want to make sure that you have a really good brand of vinyl that you're working with. I cannot tell you what a difference it will make if you have a good brand of vinyl. This is StarCraft Premium adhesive vinyl. It is incredible. We get it from 143vinyl.com. It is a wonderful product. We highly recommend them. And that company also has swatches of all the colors. There's around 60 different colors. I think there's a little more than 60 to choose from in this vinyl brand. It is amazing. So you can see all these incredible colors that you can choose from. The shipping is great. The quality is great. The price is amazing. This is the vinyl we use. We have tried many different brands of vinyl. Our least favorite brand of vinyl is Cricut. Cricut brand vinyl is our least favorite. We feel like it does not cut, weed, or apply well at all. It gives us the most trouble when weeding. So if you're having trouble weeding, try getting a different brand of vinyl. If your vinyl is not cutting the way you think it should, grab a different, better brand of vinyl. This is very affordable and very good. It comes in bulk rolls like this, all the way down to 12 by 12 sheets of this stuff. So definitely check out 143vinyl.com. We'll have them linked down below in the description. But that is another huge reason why your vinyl might not be cutting properly, is because you're using a bad or wrong brand of vinyl. I do want to mention some brands of vinyl are marketed for premium outdoor, or they're marketed to be a bit heavier duty, so they might be a little bit thicker. That's why it's so important to do your research on the type of vinyl that you are using to make sure that that setting is proper in Design Space. Another thing I want to mention is you might be using the wrong mat. This is a light grit mat. You can see I'm putting my hand on it and not much is happening. This is a pretty light mat. We wouldn't recommend this for regular vinyl unless it is new. If this is a brand new mat that's super, super sticky, you probably can use this with vinyl, but we would more recommend regular standard grip, the green mats, for use with regular adhesive vinyl. Your vinyl could move on the mat if your mat is not sticky enough, and that could definitely cause it not to cut properly. So if you have a light grip mat with wear and tear on it, this might not be the best mat for you. Also, be wary of using a mat that is too sticky, because you could cut your material out, weed it, try to remove it from the mat, and the backing completely stick. That is another problem that can happen when you're using a mat that's too sticky. So make sure you're choosing the mat that's right for your vinyl, that doesn't stick too bad. If you're having to use masking tape to hold vinyl down on a mat, that's when you know you're using the wrong mat. So definitely make sure you pay attention to which mat you're using. Next up, I want to talk about this fine point blade here. So this fine point blade, if you can see this, I'm going to try and get something to kind of point to. If you can see this right here, there is some room here in between the housing and the clamp, and we can't have that. You cannot have any room between the housing and the clamp. Make sure that your clamp is all the way down in your housing. So open up that clamp, push that housing down, and then you can clamp that clamp B back down. That is the cause of a lot of different issues when it comes to cutting, is people don't understand their housing is a little bit up in their clamp. They've clamped it down before pushing it down, and that of course is going to bring that blade up and not allow that blade to go down and really penetrate the vinyl the way it's supposed to and cut it properly. So always make sure that your fine point blade housing is all the way down in your clamp before you shut that clamp and before you make a project. If you are a beginner with Cricut, first of all, welcome. This is an amazing journey you've decided to go on. If you're here, that means you're trying to troubleshoot a little bit of issues you're having with vinyl. Don't forget to check out our other training. We have so much training for Cricut beginners, including how to change your fine point blade. Definitely check that video out. I'll have it linked up here for you, and that video is going to be super helpful on how to change your fine point blade. It actually is a video on how to change all the blades, but how to change that fine point blade is in there and will help you out a lot. Other than just changing that pressure setting from default to more, if you think your blade is dull, that can only do so much, that can only work for so long. So be sure to change that blade if you're not getting success even with that setting on more. So that video will share with you how to do that. I also mentioned making sure to purchase a good brand of vinyl. If you are a true Cricut beginner and you're not sure what the differences are between heat transfer vinyl, regular adhesive vinyl, what they're used for, what brands to buy, what brands to not buy, we do have a video on that as well, all about vinyl types and differences. So check that video out as well. It's super helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe and ring that bell to get notified when more amazing training videos like this come out. Also, click the very first link in the description below and join Oak and Lamb if you are ready to dive in head first and become a well-rounded and confident crafter in whatever area of crafting you are passionate about. We not only teach in Cricut, but we also teach on laser cutters, we teach in sublimation, woodworking, sewing, home decor, and so much more. We would love for you to become a member of the flock today and gain access to hundreds of cut files with free commercial licensing, amazing member-only perks, not to mention our incredible unmatched community of like-minded crafters. Thank you so much. Click the very first link below. Again, you will get $10 off. We do have an amazing coupon code FUN, F-U-N, at checkout. That makes your first month with us only $9.99. I'll see you in the next video.